What's up, y'all? I'm out here at the range, as you can see back behind me, on another warm sunny day. Temperature wasn't supposed to be too bad, only in the low 80s out here, so I opted not to set up my shade. Luckily, I got out here early enough that I had some shade coming from the other direction, but now that sun is right up above me, so luckily I'm on the last test of the day. I've gotten a couple things done out here that turned out pretty good, but this one right here ought to really kick things up a notch. So the jelly contraption set up, ready to put on a show with a couple of chronos and 2 blocks of gel. Now I have done a couple of tests, like I say, but both of them, I kept them all the way to the back side. The front half of both of these blocks are completely clear, so I shouldn't have any problem getting this one done. Of course, I'm using my heavy clothing barrier as always, with a layer of denim, fleece, and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt. And what we got for this one here is a couple of big boys. First off, I've got some Winchester big bore 44 and 44 mag. This was sent to me by Steel Punisher, so I really appreciate that. I've seen this stuff in the past in different calibers, and I've always noticed that the ballistics on this stuff was kind of lacking for what it is. Even on this right here, the velocity is saying 1485 from a 240 grain semi-jacketed. As you can see there's your cartridge, nice brass case with that semi-jacketed HP. 1485 now, don't get me wrong, that's no slouch, but I've got 44 mag that's way hotter than this. But I will also mention and give them credit that velocity is gotten out of an 8 3/8 inch barrel, so they didn't use some 22, 24 inch barrel to give you the velocity. And I figured instead of running another 44 mag up against it, because I really want to run most of my 44 mag out of a longer barrel rifle length stuff, I decided to put it up against another powerhouse that I'm pretty sure I have not done a gel test at all with yet. And as you've probably already seen, I'm talking about the 50 Action Express. So for this one, I tried to find a round that I had that was kind of comparable power wise. Again, I've got some 50 AE that are much spicier than this right here, but I wanted to kind of keep it a good comparison. I'll definitely test that spicier stuff, but I wanted to kind of keep it on an even keel here. And even at that, if you're going by just purely box numbers alone, doing the math, the 50 AE has still got to win. But what we got for it is some Hornady custom 50 AE 300 grain XTP load. Now the velocity on this is saying 1475, and that is out of a 6-inch barrel, so you've got a heavier projectile, a good bit heavier projectile, and just barely a little bit less velocity. So there's your 50 AE, again, brass case with that big old gigantic XTP projectile. And here's the 44 and the 50 AE side by side. Same length case, but then when you start looking at the other direction, you really see the difference. And what I'm running these from out here today is some pretty spicy stuff all on its own. For the 44 mag, we got a big old snake here, the Colt Anaconda with the 8-inch barrel. And then for the 50 AE, of course, I've got my Desert Eagle with the 6-inch barrel. So these right here ought to really lay down some power and put on a good show. Let me get it all set up and see what they do. All right, let's see what kind of velocities we get from these wild animals. I'm gonna do a 5-round average from each one, starting with this 44 mag first. Now remember, the box on this is saying 1485 from an 8 3/8, so we should be right there at this. If y'all aren't familiar with this lab radar, like I always mention about it, you're gonna get multiple velocity readings. Your large numbers right here at the muzzle, and then you've got 5 across the bottom. The first one's set for 3 yards, which is roughly where your gel is here at 10 feet. And then I've got them set for 10, 15, 25, and 50. Let's see what we get here, how close we come to the 1485 they were saying. Ooh, that's spicy. My hand's slippery too. 1543, we came there and some. 1505, this stuff's definitely spicy. 1503, whew. 1561. And 1494, definitely some spicy stuff. I might should have put a glove on with that thing because my hands are so sweaty out here. Let's check out the average. All right, it definitely passed up at 1485. Our 5-round average was 1,521 feet per second, an extreme spread of 67, and a standard deviation of 29.2. So 1521, if the Desert Eagle only meets what's on the box or even don't quite meet that, the 44 mag's definitely gonna take the crown. Well, let's get it reset and see what the Deagle does. All right, let's see what this Deagle will do, y'all. Remember now, this is a 300 grain projectile saying 1475. I got a feeling we're gonna be a little short with this right here, just for whatever reason. Whoo, good gracious. 1430. Good night, this thing is rowdy. 1412. 1423. 1412 again. I mean, this thing sounds like an absolute howitzer out here, y'all. Let's check out this average. All right, so we did fall a little bit short of that 1475 that the box is claiming. I figured we would just for whatever reason. Our 5-round average right there was 1,421, and this stuff was really, really nice and consistent. We had an extreme spread of 18 with an 8 standard deviation, so really, really consistent stuff. Unfortunately, I'll have to do the math, of course, but I think that velocity drop might have put this just under the energy level because of just how much extra velocity that Anaconda got. But definitely a lot of power from both of them. So 1421 here, and if you remember on that Anaconda, it was 1521. So you're talking about exactly 100 feet per second faster with the 44 mag, being a little bit lighter projectile too, of course. Now, just doing the math roughly in my head again, I think that actually still gives the Deagle the edge by a little bit with the energy. But again, both of these things are absolute powerhouses that are probably gonna rock that jelly real good. So let me get it all set up. Y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's Wild Kingdom jelly time. I'm gonna put one of each of these beasts into the gel, starting with this 44 mag first. I'm not sure exactly what to expect. I expect them just to dump a pile of energy. I mean, you're talking about over 1,000 foot-pounds of energy from both of these. I do have the towels down there just in case, but I don't think these are gonna go all the way through. I think they're gonna expand and dump some energy. Actually, I think it might have went the distance. Let me go see what I got. All right, y'all, I'm glad I put them towels because it sure enough went all the way through both blocks. Let's see what this 50 does. Now I'm kind of thinking it's probably going the distance too. Let's see what happens. I went right beside it. I'll probably have to turn you at a different angle. Let me go see what happened with this one. All right, let's take a look at this devastation down here, y'all. I've got you turned over, so this is the top you're looking at. That was the top view, so the part that y'all were seeing in the camera is laying down on the bottom. So you can see, I put them side by side so you can get a really nice clear view here. So if you want the long story short version, you just got absolute devastation down here from both of these things. I can't think of much of anything that you might have to defend yourself from that one of these wouldn't handle. Now, that being said, I think without a doubt, the 50 AE absolutely has to be called the winner in this case right here. But let's start on the bottom with the 44 mag. So as you can see here, comes in here, massive energy transfer all the way through this first block. Tons of disruption. You got some fragmentation going on. Goes into the second block here, all the way through the second block and completely out the end of 32 inches of gel. I do have the projectile, of course, we'll look at it here in a minute, and it's pretty interesting what we got from that. And then of course up above that, you got devastation supreme right here. The 50 AE, I mean, this thing just went to town, buddy. It came in here, immediate dumping of all kinds of energy, tons of energy, massive disruption all the way through that first block. You do have a little bit of fragmentation, looks like a couple pieces of jacket, carries into this second block just a little bit over halfway, and from what I can tell, you got some massive expansion on that big old chunk of lead. So as far as the penetration on these things, again, the 44 mag went 32 plus inches, and then your 50 Action Express, the forward momentum on that is at 25 3/4. So again, I can't really think of anything off the top of my head, at least in this country and on this continent, that one of these rounds couldn't handle. And here's your close-up look at them again. On the bottom, the 44 mag, up above that, the 50 Action Express. You can definitely see the difference as far as disruption size. The 44 mag, don't get me wrong, absolutely no slouch. Again, both of these things would do an absolutely fantastic job of something. There's the 50 Action Express, hard to see in that bubble right there, and then you track for your 44 mag all the way out the end. Top view definitely messy, and again, they're completely lined right up, so they're on top of each other, but follow them on through here. Wanted just to show you a top view, or this would be the side view of that 50 AE. All right, let's check out these projectiles, y'all. Big difference right here, as you can already see. I mean, an absolute huge difference. Obviously, this right here is the 50 Action Express, and this is the 44 mag. As you can see, this 50 Action Express, it expanded till it could not expand anymore. Absolute massive, beautiful expansion from this 50 AE. This 44 mag actually lost a lot of material. It lost a lot more material than you first looked like in the gel, but once I got back looking after I saw this, there's a lot of lead, a lot of little fragments of lead. It basically just broke everything off that was sticking out outside of the case there. As you can see, it flattened it and then just kind of broke all the petals and the little bits of lead off. Now, some of that could have been where it came out and hit the towel, but all the fragmentation took place before it left the gel because there was no fragments or anything in the towel. So not a whole lot of big expansion on that 44 mag, but being just a basic semi JHP, I really didn't expect a whole lot. So let's get some info on these things and see what we got. We'll start with the weight on them. The 50 AE started at 300 and that one is down to 295.6. So not a whole lot of loss right there considering it started at 300. And then the 44 Magnum started at 240 and it's down to 228.7. So again, it's a lot more loss than what you think. Still though, not a terribly large amount. And then as far as the size, you're talking about a huge difference right here. This is probably just barely bigger than the base. You have 449 there, and then the length of that slug is 618. And then this big old toxic mushroom right here, you got 772 and 818. So absolutely massive expansion on that chunk of lead from the 50 AE. And there you go, y'all, the Winchester Big Bore 44 Magnum and the Hornady Custom in 50 Action Express. The 44 Magnum Big Bore was pretty much the purpose of this test right here. This was just thrown in for a bonus, and I'm glad I did because this right here is incredibly impressive. The 44 mag, absolutely no slouch as far as hunting purposes. You still talking about, I'm pretty sure, over 1,000 foot-pounds of energy, 1,1200 plus probably from this 50 right here. So as far as performance as a hunting round, y'all know I've talked about in the past, I'm certainly not an expert when it comes to hunting, but as far as the energy and the penetration on this, I think this would do a fine job, and it goes without saying that this 50 AE would absolutely do a fine job. All right, y'all, I'm gonna call it right there for a pretty spicy way to end out the day of testing. Definitely a couple of heavy hitters right here. Again, I think these are more than capable of doing pretty much anything you need to get done. Probably a little excessive to carry with you down to the 7-Eleven, but if that's what you got, that's what you got. As far as hunting purposes, again, I personally would not feel underpowered against anything on this continent with any one of those two rounds. Both of these things putting out over 1,000 foot-pounds of energy, and again, like I mentioned, I've got way spicier stuff in both of these calibers. Now, if we're looking to call a winner out here, I think it has to be the 50 AE, no question about it. It outperformed the 44 mag basically in every way through a shorter barrel with a heavier projectile. I mean, you had more energy, less penetration, but still plenty of penetration, more expansion. That 50 AE is just a heck of a round. But let me know down in the comments what y'all's thoughts are. Any of y'all out there carry either one of these rounds in 50 AE or 44 mag? Do you carry something else in 44 mag or 50 AE? And if you had to call a winner right here, which one would it be? Let me know also down there in the comments, if y'all had to choose between one of these two tools, which one would it be? If you did enjoy the video, take a second, if you would, and hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you turn on those notifications so you get notified when I upload new stuff. Again, a reminder to check out the affiliate info in the video description. Anything you pick up after hitting those links up, I get a kickback from them towards the channel, so I really do appreciate that. Once again, a big thanks to all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all for supporting the channel like y'all do. I got some interesting stuff done out here today and plenty more on the way, so stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.